resume-wise, he's been a head coach in college. He was 13-25 at Southern Miss.
I covered some of those teams.
You covered Todd Monken Southern Miss teams?
Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
I reminded him about that when he was the OC of the Bucks, week 3 of the 2017 season. It was kind of one of those, like, the Spider-Man meme. I saw him in US Bank Stadium. It's kind of like, hey, what the hell are you doing here? I'm like, what are you doing here? So, yes, 1-11, I believe, his first year at the Rock.
He won 9 games in his last year. So, yeah, 3 games in his second year by the math. Obviously, there you go. Thank you, Wisconsin. He was the Browns OC in 2019, so he's familiar with Cleveland. They had a big year that year. They were 6-10.
Oh.
And reportedly, throughout this entire process for the Cleveland Browns, that the number one goal was to be able to keep their defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, in addition to whoever was going to be the head coach. Now, Schwartz interviewed for the job, as did Rams assistant, former Illinois quarterback Nate Schillhouse, and they go with Monken, and the collective reaction is, like it sounds. It's not even words, right? It's, I don't even think people had words for this. I think that's the reaction. They hired the guy who admittedly had a tough time with Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson had a tough time with him. What an attractive piece to go get. Oh, you had beef with a 2-time MVP? We want you. This one feels weird, Smalls.
It does. And I thought that after we got the reports that Nate Schillhouse had a long meeting with the Browns, that it was trending that way. And I thought that would have been an interesting hire for them because he's young, he's smart, he comes from the McVay coaching tree, which has obviously had a lot of success. And they may have their quarterback of the future in Shedeur Sanders, they may not. But I imagine if you bring somebody like Nate Schillhouse in, you're going to give him a long runway to hopefully build something. And it will inspire, at least in the immediacy, a little bit of excitement and confidence in your fan base. Okay, we're doing something different. We're doing something young. We're going to invigorate this franchise in a new and exciting way. And instead, to your point, it's Todd Monken, who it wasn't great in Baltimore. It's part of the reason that John Harbaugh got fired. It didn't work with a 2-time MVP in Lamar. So what makes us believe as Browns fans that it's going to be great for us with Shedeur and whoever could be potentially next in the quarterback carousel? When I saw it, I just kind of thought to myself, I wonder why they're going this route. And that's not really what you want to be thinking about when we're talking about a consequential head coaching hire.
I was stunned when I heard it because let's not act like his name was really in the mix for that long or anywhere near the top. We had heard about Mike McDaniel last week. He pulls out. Others pull out of the search process for the Browns. And then it starts getting narrowed down to Grant Udinski's name before he decides he wants to go somewhere else, Nate Schillhouse, and then Jim Schwartz, who felt like the front runner all along. And he's under contract still as your defensive coordinator. And then all of a sudden they decide to muddy their own waters by making a hire that no one saw coming, a hire that doesn't do much to inspire the current landscape in Cleveland, and a hire that feels like it's undercutting the GM. Like, I don't get the sense that this was Andrew Berry's first choice, guys. Just the way that this whole search has gone down the last couple of weeks, this doesn't feel like a move that he was going to make. And you see right now, if you're watching us on ESPN2, that's one of my favorite memes that Myles Garrett used, where it's the fast food worker out behind whatever the restaurant is looking exhausted. I don't think that he wanted this move to happen, which seems like it reflects many Browns fans' feelings this morning as somebody who thought his defensive coordinator was finally going to get that head coaching job.
Yeah, Myles Garrett is an unbelievable football player. Myles Garrett doesn't get the right to complain because he signed up for this.
Yeah, you could have left.
I mean, I understand he's a good dude. We
I'm
know
just
people
saying,
that know
he's
that those people are not
what
great.
people
but
think
like
now.
the idea here that Myles Garrett is going to complain about this, and my guess, knowing nothing about this, because when somebody puts out a meme, they're doing it for interpretation. There are no words with it, right?
But that's not a positive meme.
Well,
no, that's
but don't you think
thing.
that's about the possibility, if you had to guess, of Jim Schwartz leaving, a guy who he has played for years, a guy who clearly got the best out of Myles. And I thought Jim Schwartz was a good hire all along. Like, that's the guy I would have gone with. I thought it made sense. Everyone seems to like him on that defense. He's been a head coach before. You're not ready for your next 20 years of football yet. So in the in-between, rally the troops a little bit. And Jim Schwartz felt like I didn't think it was fair to Shieldhouse to actually give him the job, as odd as that sounds. Because
you don't think he's ready?
I don't know if he's ready, but I think that job is set up to fail.
Okay.
And I think someone who's been there before and someone who's worked with that defense will then have Myles Garrett, who's the face of the franchise, rallying troops in his favor. Where Shieldhouse, I'm happy. I don't know this guy. I'm happy for him that he's going to be with the Rams, because I think this would have been a bad situation for him. I just don't get the entire time. I thought what they were doing was, how do we get 2 for the price of 1? I figured Jim Schwartz was in on this. Like, hey, Jim, listen, if you don't get the job, it's going to be Michelle Smallman. You love Michelle Smallman. I know you want to work with Michelle Smallman. We're considering you, but we want you for years to come. You may not be cool with Evan Cohen, but you are cool with Michelle Smallman? Yes. Yeah, I want the job. I want you guys to know that, and I'm not settling for that, and I'm going to be upset. But if it's her, I'll think about it. If it's him, I'm out. And they hired me and not you.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the guy's out, and the entire process was about keeping that guy, and they're going to lose that guy too?
I don't know.
Very
I mean,
Cleveland
it gets messy,
Browns.
though. He's under contract, so it's not like he can just walk away right now, despite what's being
He's allowed to
reported.
quit, Court.
Sure. I don't think he's going to do that. I think this becomes something where he's going to try to force his way out to put himself on a different staff next year. And I don't know how that happens, because he's a defensive coordinator of the Browns. Unless you become a head coach, they can technically block you from that. They made this so much worse than they had to, because he was the front runner. Once all of those other names that we've gone through started to either pull out, stay in their current spot, go back to their current spot, or decide to go somewhere else, it looked like Jim Schwartz, and from what the reporting we've heard, that he had been told that he was like the first in line to get this job if these other candidates didn't work out. And then now he's going around the building telling people goodbye, reportedly, and that he's angry and unhappy that this thing worked out the way that it did. Like, they made this so much messier than they had to, because once again, for a third time, at least that I can count, for like big time moves, Jimmy Haslam stepped in it. And he's done this with Andrew Berry, his general manager, multiple times during Berry's tenure. From Deshaun Watson, enforcing that thing through and paying him $230 million guaranteed, to drafting Shedeur Sanders, to now this. You circumvented the entire process that you let your general manager, you retained your general manager when you could have done a full clean sweep of everybody in the building. And then you just moved him out of the way after you said, I trust you to run this search. I trust you to get our next head coach. But oh, by the way, I'm going to step in here and make the final decision. That doesn't sit well, nor should it, with any Browns fan this morning.
Well, they want the Haslam family, Jimmy and Dee Haslam, to do something solid for Cleveland sports. So I think the answer is he should just trade Giannis to the Cavs. And I think that, he owns the Milwaukee Bucks, he owns the Cleveland Browns. Do something for Cleveland sports. Trade Giannis to the Cavs. That should be your gift.
Yeah.
The Browns thing ain't working.
We can't get you a quarterback or a coach you're excited about, but we're going to get you Giannis.
We're going to get you Giannis. Small's got her phone back, by the way. We'll update the over-under on number of missed calls. She misplaced her phone, but she got that. By the way, you think that the Browns are a mess, right?
Of course.
Could there be an NFL team that actually has